Confiscate the money. That girl is a real rowdy. Small world, all her friends know me.
So we are back with the brand new episode of Cincinnati Stingers MyLEAGUE here in NBA 2K17. Last episode we went 7 another season of the Stingers franchise, and yeah, we had a pretty good season. We went and won our third NBA championship of our franchise's history, so we're doing very well under the big three of Jason Tatum, Shane Wheeler, and Nick Cheeks. But otherwise, we do have a lot of other a lot of role players on this team that make it happen, like Lynn Morgan, obviously. We do have off the bench, we have Malcolm Little, who is just clutch every playoff time. He always drops maybe 20 plus points per game every playoffs. But now going to our season this year, we're starting off number 1 in power rankings, second and number 1, all in those lists. But Lynn Morgan and Nerlens Noel are going to have to be re-signed this year. But Nerlens Noel wants $2.96 million for 3 years. Right now he's making $18 million, and we're in cap trouble, obviously. So obviously, let's go and take this offer of $2.96 million for 2 years for Nerlens Noel, just based on him. He's 35, and I'm pretty sure his overall will go down maybe like a 72 by then. So Nerlens Noel re-signed for the season. Let's go start off the simulation where we're 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, 8-2. So I mean, our team's killing it at this point. Second and number 1 in the Eastern Conference, just balancing out there with the Hawks. But we started losing some games though, surprisingly, just based on our bench is a lot more thinner this year, just based on we're in a lot of cap trouble. So right now that is our roster at this point. We have Nick Cheeks, Shane Wheeler, and the gang still in there. But now I gotta find out, either bring in a new man in our offense, just Ben McLemore, just to go help out our bench just a bit more, because Ben McLemore, decent shooting in this game, might as well bring him in, play on the bench, because we have not that many shooters on the bench, to be honest with you. Because right now our team, like, you gotta add more bench players. Our team is way too thin when it comes to the bench. It's probably gonna end up killing us in the playoff time. But now 24-9, we're basically balancing out there the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks doing very well so far. They have the almost exact same record with us almost every few days. But right at this point, we start losing a few games. We lost like 4 in a row there, and now we start losing games. At this point in the season, we usually only lost maybe 5 or 6 games, but now 17 L's right now so far before the All-Star break. We gotta start winning some more games or balance this one out just a bit more. But right now, Atlanta solid in first place by 6.5 games right now in number 1 for the Eastern Conference. So I mean, Atlanta killing it this year. I don't know who they have, but your Eastern All-Stars, we have Shane Wheeler, Nick Cheeks, and Francis Jenkins. 3 Stingers here on this list. Finally, we have 3 All-Stars. Usually just Nick Cheeks and Wheeler, but your Western Conference All-Stars, same old, same old. Dunk contest, no Francis Jenkins, but in 3-point contest, we have Shane Wheeler on there, so maybe he can go and deliver a 3-point contest winner this year. I have no idea, but we have nobody on that one, but no players also in the award races too, which I'm pretty surprised about. Usually you have at least 1 or 2 in the MVP and maybe 1 in the 6th man, but right here you have a few players to re-sign, like Lynn Morgan wants to re-sign, so might as well re-sign him on there. Then you have Scalabus here wants to re-sign too. He's pretty good, I guess. 2.55 million for 2 years is not that bad for Scal. We'll re-sign him. And Roberson wants to re-sign at 3 years minimums. I mean, why not do it? He's actually a pretty good player. So let's go sim the rest of the season right now. 40-18, 41-18. Now 41-19, contract extensions, we have nothing to do there because we signed everybody. So moving on to the last half of the season though, Atlanta already clinched at this point, so I mean, they're almost solid in first place for the rest of the season. But right at this point, we started winning games like crazy. 13 games in a row we won, but we lost to the Raptors there by 1 point. So that broke up that winning streak. But at this point, I don't know how many games we won in the last stretch. We only lost maybe 2 or 3 games in the last half of the season. But now, last game of the season against the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons, I don't know if they have a good lineup, but they completely destroyed us in the last game though. Nick Cheeks 28 and 10 for a double-double when it comes to assists. But other than that, our team just sucked completely against Jay Barea and the Pistons. But your MVP is, guess who? Patton once again. 39.6 points per game. He's killing it. Rookie leader Joey Walsh averaging 30 points per game. So I mean, that's crazy. I think that's Patton's like 3rd MVP, but Joey Walsh, I think he's a rookie too. 6th man Manuel Mudiay on there. Cheney is Defensive Player of the Year. They have Mitchell Hamlin as the most improved player in the entire league. And Michael Goodrich is Coach of the Year of the Atlanta Hawks. So the Hawks had a great year, but your All-NBA first team, you have Joey Walsh, the rookie, on there. Then you have Antetokounmpo on the 2nd team, no Stingers there. And 3rd team, you have Nick Cheeks, finally shows up on there, and Francis Jenkins. So at least 2 Stingers on the All-NBA 3rd team. But look, torn left Achilles out for the season. Francis Jenkins, I mean, our season, if Francis Jenkins is out, basically we're screwed. He came back in the finals last year to go help us out against those Clippers. But other than that, we're basically screwed if Francis Jenkins is not there. So I don't know at this point to predict at this point for how we're going to finish. But Joey Walsh, rookie, averaged 30.2 points per game in his first season. He's on the All-NBA first team, plus he won Rookie of the Year honors. So, I mean, he's going to have a great career with those Houston Rockets over there in the Western Conference. But now, all-rookie first team, same old, along with Joey Walsh on there. And we have Conrad Wolf and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, no Stingers on the rest of this list, which just kind of sucks a little bit too much. But now moving on to the rest of the thing, the playoffs, which they were facing the Pacers in the first round. They're 42-40, not that bad of a team, I guess. They have Baldus, Jamal Murray, Gooden, Randall, Brady, Bates, Perkins. I mean, they have a decent roster over there and a pretty good bench. So maybe we might drop one game against them. But Cam Anderson is out for them, and we have Francis Jacobs out for the season for us. I mean, big loss for us. But we take game one, this one, 31-16, double-double for Shane Wheeler in that game. Jamal Murray, 32 points for him. Now into game two of the season, or the series. We take game two to go up 2-0 here. Wheeler, 27 points, 6 rebounds in that game. Randall, 17-12 for a double-double. Now up to game 3 of this first round, they take game 3 finally, so I guess they took one game, but Jamal Murray 30 points, Nick Cheeks 25, 4 and 11 for a double-double. So Nick Cheeks playing, I guess, pretty good, up to his double-double standards in the regular season, but we go up 31 here in this series. After Tatum drops 30, Little 26 and 11. Little, he's so clutch in the playoffs, it's unbelievable. He just comes and steps up, but Nick Cheeks, 14 assists for him. Now going into the last game though, game 5, we go and win the first quarter, drop 43 points in the first quarter, and yeah, it's practically over by then. We win by 60 points to move on to the next round, so big exclamation mark right there, 32-10 for a double-double for Wheeler. Tatum had a double-double, and our team just killed it. But as for the Pacers, Hamlin 24 points, Randall 10 and 14 for a double-double, but that's about it. Now going on to the next round, we're facing the Toronto Raptors, who won 4-1 over the Miami Heat. The Raptors, 44-38, they usually cause us some trouble, so I mean, we could actually lose this one. They have Antetokounmpo, they have Leach, they have Andre Drummond on there too, so I mean, not that bad of a roster over there in Toronto, but our centers have stepped up. We have no injured centers, only Jenkins. But we take game 1 here in this series. Nick Cheeks 35, 6 and 12 for a double-double, plus 5 steals on top of that. So Nick Cheeks just feasted all over the Raptors, whereas Antetokounmpo had a double-double, 29 points, 14 assists. But we take game 2, 34 and 10 for Wheeler for a double-double in that game. And Antetokounmpo 25, 8 and 11. So now going into the next game, we take game 3 to go up 3-0 here against the Raptors. And man, we're killing it here against the Raptors. Can't believe it, but the Jason Tatum 26 points, Nick Cheeks 26, 8 and 15 for a double-double, plus 5 assists, 5 steals on that. Now going into game 4, we're trying to sweep the Raptors in Toronto, and I think we could actually do it though at this point, as we're gonna go and sweep the Raptors in Toronto, exactly how I say it. So either 26, 5 and 2 and 3 steals in that game. Tatum 17 and 10 for a double-double. Nick Cheeks 15 points, 11 assists for a double-double. And the crew just killed it to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals to face whoever is there. So, I mean, hopefully you can face a team that's not that good, but it looks like we might end up facing the Atlanta Hawks, and we do. So, the Clippers, they swept the first 2 series. Man, they better not go all the way to win it. As long as the Clippers don't win it, I'm fine. But the Atlanta Hawks, they have actually a pretty bad roster. They're 73 overall, 273s in the starting lineup. Their bench is weak. I mean, we should easily win this one, like easily. They have one player out for the season too, but we take game 1 of this series, 28, 9 and 2 for Armstrong, but Wheeler 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on that one, and Nick Cheeks 20 points for him. Now going on to game 2, they take game 2 in Cincinnati, so I'm pretty surprised about that one. Armstrong dropped 30, Timmerman dropped 18 and 13 assists, but Cheeks 20 points, 12 assists, 4 steals. We should have won this one with those stat lines, but we didn't. Now going on to game 3, we take game 3 to make a 2-1 lead for us in this series. 19 points, 13 rebounds for a double-double for Wheeler on there. Cheeks didn't really have that many assists for him, but now going on to game 4, they take game 4 and make it a 2-2 series. So very competitive here, back and forth between the Stingers and the Hawks here in this series. But hopefully we can go and take this next game in order to go up 3-2. And we do. So I mean, 3-2 series here for the Cincinnati Stingers. We're trying to go and shut them out and go on to the NBA Finals for another year in a row. But Malcolm Little, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals in that one. Not that bad of a stat line. But now going on to game 6, sorry. We gotta take this one in Cincinnati. We're in Cincinnati too. Now going into the 4th quarter, we lose this one by 2 points, and now it's all tied up at 3 apiece here. We're going to a game 7 in this series. So Cheeks 26 points, 11 assists for a double-double. But man, this is gonna be a really tight game 7 here. Both teams very good. Bosch dropped 29 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Bosch is a great player in this game. But game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, in Atlanta too, because they're the first seed. They get home court advantage, but we're stopping this one slowly. They take the first quarter, they take the second quarter, they drop 40 on us in the second quarter, and they're up by a lot at this point. Now up by 10 in the fourth quarter, and they eliminate us out of the playoffs. They move on to the NBA Finals, but Tatum dropped 23, Cheeks dropped 15 and 13 for a double-double for assists, but Tierman, he ultimately killed us, same with Henry Bosch and the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know how they beat us. They somehow beat us, but I don't know. Harvey Bosch and the crew, these two guys, they move on to the NBA Finals in 7 games against us in the Eastern Conference Finals. But the Clippers, they move on to the NBA Finals too, so it's Clippers versus Atlanta. Atlanta takes this one 4-1 against the Clippers, so at least the Clippers don't win, as Reed Tierman takes home Finals MVP honors in that series. So Tierman played very well, same with Harvey Bosch against us, but yeah, our stat line for the playoffs, not that bad, I guess. We had a pretty good stats for the playoffs. Obviously, Nick Cheeks is very good in the playoffs. I think he averaged double-double in the playoffs too, around that, but other than that, our team was actually really disappointing. I thought for sure we'd go all the way and win this one this year, but I guess not, as our team, basically, the lack of Francis Jenkins really killed our team at this point, as Francis Jenkins is a spark plug. He's probably one of our best players and one of the best players in the NBA overall, so I mean, the presence of him really helps our team out tremendously. Like, as demonstrated last year, though, in the NBA Finals, he came back and played against the Clippers in the Finals, and he destroyed them, too. He made them weep like babies, exactly how he said in the last one, but league leaders in the playoffs, there's one man missing. Where's Georges Patton, though? Patton usually averages like 30 points per game in the playoffs, in the regular season, so I don't know where Patton is. Let's move on to the Clippers and see where he is. Let's go to the roster, and it looks like he's injured. Patton, out for the season, high left ankle sprain. So Patton was out for the NBA Finals. That's why they didn't win. I'm surprised about that, but player retirements, if Kevin Love retired there, he did retire as a member of the Lakers, so I mean, it could happen in real life, but Gordon Hayward retired as a member of the Charlotte Hornets. Blake Griffin retired too, and he was on the Clippers for a lot of years though too. And you got Paul George retired there, longtime member of the Pacers. So there's a lot of players who played on one team for a majority of their career, but then moved on to other teams. But Kawhi Leonard on the Warriors to retire there. That's kind of weird to see other players like superstars on the Warriors retiring. But Jonas Valanciunas retired in this league. You have Victor Oladipo, Andre Robertson, Doug McDermott retired, former member of the Stingers a few years back. So I mean, there's a few more former members of the Stingers retiring every year, so I mean, it's pretty crazy to see that. But moving on to the Hall of Fame inductees, you have Paul George, Blake Griffin, and Kawhi Leonard going to the Hall of Fame. So, great players, great careers. Moving on to jersey retirements, you have Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Gordon Hayward, and Blake Griffin retiring their respective teams. Going on to league meetings, we do have the sudden death rule. If a game goes to overtime, the first team to score in overtime is deemed the winner. We're not going to do that one. That one's just too bad. It would ruin the league practically, I guess. This isn't hockey, this is basketball. But now going on to the draft lottery, we have no picks in the draft lottery. Let's skip this one. The Celtics get the first overall pick somehow. So the Celtics, first overall, second is Charlotte, and third is the Suns. But new team, just new season means new coaching staff. But we'd only change up one by getting assistant GM or a scout, one of the two. But let's move on to the NBA draft in 2028.
With the first pick in the NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select the 19-year-old point guard from Texas Tech University. With the second pick in the NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Grant Roberts from the University of Michigan. With the third pick in the NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns select Antonio Macy. With the fourth pick in the NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select J.P. Forrest from Baylor University. a trade to announce. With the 5th pick in the NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Bradford Harrington from Oklahoma State University. We have a trade to announce. With the 6th pick in the NBA draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Arnold Kramer from Germany. And the 30th pick in the NBA draft, Sean Nixon from Boston College.
So Mike Conley Jr. goes first overall in the NBA draft in 2028. So that's pretty crazy to see, like a former NBA player plus a junior on that one. That's actually pretty cool to see that. So Mike Conley Jr. goes first overall. Whereas our pick, I guess our pick wasn't the greatest, but it's not that bad. We did have Nunez going to the Hawks, but we had Sean Nixon going to the Stingers, 30th overall. So either center, he's 7 feet tall. I mean, he's not that bad. But going over some overalls for the rest of the players, we have Daniels, not that bad. Anderson, he'll be okay player for whoever he got drafted by. But ultimately, Nixon, not that bad of a player, 63 overall, 21 years old, 7 feet tall, or 7'1". So not that bad of a center on the bench. But my free agents, we do have Harrison, we do have McLemore, we have DeMarcus Cousins who retired. His offer is expired. So let's go and maybe re-sign him. But you also have Antonio Craig, who just wants a little bit too much money for what he's worth. We're going to go ahead and re-sign DeMarcus Cousins if we can, if we cannot get anyone else in the free agency. But going on, the free agency, this is probably the weakest free agency I've ever seen. But Andrew Harrison, we're going to try and sign him, the 1-year deal. With anyone else on here, there's really nobody else at this point. I mean, there's a few decent point guards like Tyler Ulis. Wouldn't be that bad to go and get on our team. But Tyler Ulis, the problem with Tyler Ulis, though, is that most of the time he commands a pretty high salary for what he's worth. So we're not going to sign him. We're going to sign Doug Davenport, bam, out of Bayo. And we're kind of debating on signing DeMarcus Cousins just based on that we had salary troubles last year and couldn't sign any other players for even that minimum too. So accepted offers going to accept Andrew Harrison, Ronnie Day, Archie Goodwin, Jamie Bradley, and Burt Norris. So no DeMarcus Cousins this year as we filled our bench completely with good players, 75 overall plus players on the bench. So our bench might be great this year. We actually have backups this year, just pretty cool to see that. But going over the draft summit, we do have Russell Westbrook Jr. on here. So Russell Westbrook Jr., I was saying about Mike Conley Jr., now Russell Westbrook Jr. in the next year, and he's an A+ potential player, so maybe I can go out and get Russell Westbrook Jr. I'm not really sure about that, but my league roster, we do have the same old roster. We could go and drop a few players, but our roster next year, Nick Cheeks, Wheeler, Tatum, Morgan, Noel, Little, Abissier, Davenport, Coleman, Day, Harrison, Brady, Bosch, Norris, and Jank. But anyway, I guess I'll end this episode off here. Make sure to subscribe for Stingers Franchise Month. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.